We're back, baby. It's the charity stripe. Hit your free throws because they are free. Fisher to Southwest Snacks. Kreider, February 17th. Yeah. Friday.
I don't even know anymore.
You don't even know anymore.
Football season's over and the days just blend together.
And Josh Jacobs, pay the man.
Pay him.
Pay the man. All right. Football season is over. Basketball season, halfway, all-star break. I want to throw out maybe the standings right now, and I want to see what's most surprising to you guys as I call it
Well,
out.
hold on. Before we just get into that, I just want to note that this is the most exciting day in all of sports. You don't have baseball, you don't have basketball, you don't have football.
Wow.
You do have golf.
You have golf. You have the Genesis Open. You've got NHL. You've got NASCAR, I believe, right? Maybe.
Who knows with that sport? It's always like
No, there's
on.
a big race this weekend.
Is
right?
there?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think so.
Yeah, I do
There's
want to
fighting. There's always fighting.
There's always fighting.
Table tennis.
Table tennis.
Esports.
There is stuff to watch. ESPN is not shutting down. You bring up the golf tournament, and to me,
We know a lot of people that are there.
yeah. Shout out to his family, CEO Braun. He's
Yeah,
there.
well, just our homies are there too.
Get Lane's there.
I was a little, I had too much golf over the past week. Went to Waste Management.
Yeah.
That was fun. I can't really outdo that by going to Genesis. So,
Who had the biggest crowd surrounding them? Which golfer?
well, it wasn't about the golfer. I think it was about the hole.
Yeah.
So that like people don't even care much about like the golfers. They care about like the atmosphere of like being in the party, right? So the 16th hole is the biggest hole there, where it's basically like a coliseum.
Right.
And that's where like all the crazy hole-in-ones happen because it's a par 3. And so that's like where you see the videos of people throwing their drinks onto the green and everything like that.
Okay, so I'll reframe my question. Who hit on the 16th hole that got the crowd going the most?
Well, I wasn't there all day, but I was there at the end of the day, and it was the last group to tee off on that hole, and I think that's when everyone exploded because Adam Hadwin, I think, had the closest shot all weekend. There wasn't any hole-in-ones on that green, but he probably got within like the 3 feet of the pin.
Oh, wow.
And everyone went crazy, threw their drinks on, and then they cleared it. And John Rahm sunk like a 40-plus foot putt, and everyone went crazy again. So John Rahm really got the people going. And he egged it on, too. He was like, "Are you not entertained?" Like that whole gladiator.
A little gladiator.
What a beast.
That's great.
We bring up golf, and I got to say, I don't know if there is a marvel in sports like Tiger Woods.
Like in terms of just like people like drawing a crowd, like
Drawing a
Just-
crowd. He is almost bigger than his sport. Where I don't know if there's a single athlete today that supersedes their sport.
case in point, you look at all the video games that are made on respective sports. You got NBA 2K, NBA Live, Madden, right? Madden, obviously John Madden, but MVP baseball, MLB baseball, Tiger Woods, PGA. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, they used to make a lot of video games in the late 90s, the beginning of the 2000s, where it was a game specific to an athlete. Like I played on Nintendo Ken Griffey Baseball growing up. I played Kobe Bryant NBA Courtside was another game. But they haven't stood the test of time, like Tiger Woods.
They've changed since then, but like for a while he had the dynasty of golf games under his catalog.
And to be the premier golf game too.
Right, exactly.
Because there's just no one like him. There's no golfer today that has had the same pedigree as him, same crowd as him. Like we're talking about crowds, really the same accomplishments as him. Whereas, yes, we have Brady in football. Ooh, touchies. But then you have a situation where Peyton Manning is extremely dominant. You have a situation where Patrick Mahomes is on the scene. Rodgers is winning MVPs. And then in basketball, you have Kobe Bryant, you had MJ, and then you have LeBron. And then now you'll probably have Jokic, which we'll get into in a second.
Well,
Nick and I got into yesterday.
There's also the race element, right? In a game that was predominantly played by white people for a long, long time. And imagine if what had happened with Jackie Robinson happened in 2000. Happened in 1995.
Yeah.
Right? There's some of that too. At the time when media and marketing an individual as a brand see his video game was just coming into fruition. You look at Michael Jordan, what he was able to do with the Jordan sneaker, right? Like so much of that I feel like is a culmination of timing and then also the excellence that was witnessed every single time Tiger swung the club.
Yeah.
He's most similar to Jordan. You bring him up. And I think that all the allure, like you're saying, of race is completely unlike. It's probably unlike anything we've ever experienced in our lifetimes. And then Jordan, in the sense, like a guy like Rob, you bring up, are you not entertained? That's like, but like LeBron, nothing wrong with it. Like, you should be proud of your accomplishments. He's aware and he's affected and he's embraced and he wants to be loved. He cares about his appearance in the media. I'm not saying that Tiger doesn't, but Tiger is a bit shyer, honestly. He's a bit more mysterious. You know, when he had the scandals, it was earth shattering. Like, it was, no one saw that coming. It was beyond unexpected. He was just, you know, the more quiet golfer who was just absolutely fiercely competitive and dominant. Maybe a bit more similar to Jordan, who kind of wanted just to be the best basketball player and had all this fame and fortune around him, and he rode with it. I just think there's just such a mystery almost sometimes around Tiger Woods that makes it even more endearing and brings even it closer and more.
There's a few things I think that attribute to that combination, and it's golfers are kind of under the radar for the most part in the national eye. You know, it's a quiet game. You're supposed to stay quiet when they tee off. You know, like there's not a lot of theatrics involved. You know, they don't really get a ton of like opportunities to talk. I mean, obviously they have like their media appearances, you know, at the end, but they mean business. Tiger also, from a very young age, has always meant business. He's always, you know, been coached by his father and just always cared only about golf and golf only.
Serious.
Yeah, so I think maybe he's just also an introvert. That's just a personality as well. But it is pretty awesome that, you know, even with all those things, he was still the face of golf.
I mean, yeah,
and he's still playing.
And not even just golf. I think he's like one of the faces of sports.
Oh, for sure.
You say you standing the test of time. We talk about, and we've heard other people say, LeBron is the best until blank comes along. Brady's the best until, all right, now we're out with Mahomes, you know, and once Mahomes is done, there's going to be somebody else that supersedes him. Baseball, Trout was the best thing we've ever seen, or it was A-Rod, it was Griffey, it was Trout. Now we're witnessing Ohtani, and guess what? There's going to be a guy that does what Ohtani does probably in 15 years, even better than Ohtani does it. And Judge going over 60. All of that. There's other guys that come along. In our lifetime, the minute Tiger Woods was a professional golfer, there has not been a single person that has come close to touching his stardom, touching his accomplishments. He is by far and away the best golfer, and I can't fathom anyone ever being bigger than he is in golf. He is.
It probably won't happen in our lifetime.
So it's just amazing. It's just crazy. People are like texting, I want to see Tiger tee off. Like, we had an intern go there the other day, and we're like, "I'll get a video." I just want to see it. Like, forget about posting it. We just want to see it. People want to watch it. Like, don't get it wrong.
Right, and
like,
Tiger's been playing golf professionally longer than that guy's been alive.
Our intern, yeah.
Yeah.
And
close to us, honestly.
And he's gone through a lot of injuries too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of comebacks.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, it's funny. Like before the scandal, before the crash, right? Those are two now like the big kind of media things that we think about when we talk about Tiger. Prior to that, like what he was most recognized for, outside of winning, was the fist pump and the red polo on Sundays, which are both two things.
Swoosh.
What?
And the Nike swoosh.
Yeah, which are all like things that he did while he was playing the sport and winning and exceeding at the sport. So I think it's really interesting, like similar to Jordan, right? Like the things that were iconic about Jordan that you remember off the cuff prior to like The Last Dance, where we got like a look into who he was and what other guys had to say about him, was the tongue out, right? The Jordan like logo and him dunking the ball. Like it all has to do with what these guys do on the court or on the, on the green. Like LeBron, when I think of LeBron, the first thing that comes to mind just from like a media thing is right, throwing the chalk and the decision. Like realistically,
yeah,
like
I mean, you bring up the Nike swish. Now, what's the thing what's like the one shot of Nike in sports you think of? It's the golf ball teetering at the edge, dropping in. Like that's like he made the brand. Like Jordan like obviously elevated it with his.
But I can't think of a
sneaker.
football player that has come close to being the face of Nike like Tiger has, or baseball.
And then in basketball, they don't do that. There's just sub brands.
No, but I mean the interesting point that you make is that like in our lifetime, just the three of us, like there was Michael Jordan. We've had multiple GOAT conversations in every sport. Jordan and LeBron, right?
Not close in this.
Yeah, it's not even close. Brady and now Mahomes. Like the discourse this week was is Patrick Mahomes a top 5 quarterback of all time already? And he's what, like 27?
I mean, what did we get into yesterday, Nick? If Jokic wins the third MVP, which do you think he's going to at this rate at the halfway mark?
I would say he's the leader right now. Sure.
So he wins his third in a row, which is he'll be the fourth player to do that. He's now mentioned in company of Wilt, Russell Bird, all collectively considered top 15 players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So how is Jokic, doesn't have the sex appeal, doesn't have the shoe, he doesn't have like what these guys have. You could be which maybe even goes to the Tiger point. You could be so good at your sport and so dominant at your sport, and Tiger still has the appeal. He was a unicorn in race, like you're saying. He was so dominant. He was an introvert and mysterious, like we're talking about. He was the prince that was promised. We all thought he was going to be great, and he met our expectations, which were sky high, and in some cases even superseded them for all the doubters.
I think the difference, though, when you talk about Jokic, like the measurables, the historical measurables in a sport like basketball, you can have MVPs, great, but the ultimate measurable is championships. And for Tiger, like he's worn the green jacket. He's won every major championship. For him, it's like you can count how many majors he's won, right? And in golf, the way that people talk about it, maybe the casual fan, the way they talk about it, like you're not looking at positions in like finishing position is the only thing that really matters.
Right. I think at this point now, I mean, we've already known this, but he's accomplished everything he really needed to accomplish in golf. Similar to Brady, right? He's literally accomplished everything he needed to accomplish in football, right? When he got that last championship with Tampa Bay, being the championship that wasn't with
Bill.
Bill.
2 majors back from Nicholas, but like he still is.
But in terms of just like all the major accomplishments, you know,
I
like
can't do anymore.
winning all the tournaments you need to do. Now it's just like adding on and continuing to build your legacy and you know, make it harder and harder for the people coming after you to come catch you, basically.
Yeah, he's my Mount Rushmore. We've been doing a lot of Mount Rushmores, but he's my Mount Rushmore of fairy tale athletes, guys whose story and a lore and the way things unfolds for them are storybook. Kobe Bryant. Kobe's last game is, quite frankly, unlike anything I've ever seen. Jeter, his 3,000th hit, a home run, all the championships, being the king of New York, his last at bat. RBI to win the game. It's like you can't, like the captain clutch like gets in there again. Like you cannot make it up. Phelps, who on the road to get whatever was it, 7 or 8 gold medals. I don't remember off the top of my head the record. Something ridiculous in the Olympics. He gets like the comeback in the relay. It's all like him. And then you got to throw Tiger, who was down and out. We thought he was done. The scandals, the crashes, the injuries. And then that last green jacket he wins. It was like, can he do this? And then when he does, you go, I can't even believe I asked that if he could.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah.
Such a star. Real quick, basketball, quick hitters. These are the standings. Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Cavs, Nets, Knicks, all the top 6 seeds in the East.
Yeah.
Playing teams, Heat are the 7th seed. Hawks, Wizards, Raptors. The Hawks, Wizards, and Raptors all sub 500 going into the break. Bulls, Pacers, Magic, Hornets, Pistons. 1 or 2 teams, biggest surprise of that East standings.
I'm really not that surprised by anything in the East. I think like
Bulls?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I even had the Bulls making the playoffs this season. I would say like it's not that surprising because I had them as a play-in team, and obviously like things have to shake out after the All-Star break. But the Knicks being a top 6 seed is, I mean, Brunson's been incredible.
Yeah, ahead of the Heat.
Ahead of the Heat, who I think like typically they kind of start slow, but you just the Heat, it's like you don't want to see them in a playoff series.
Absolutely.
Even if you think you can beat them and you have the better roster, like it's going to be tough.
We spoke about that on Best Of. Sometimes you just gotta let it ride and let your team get hot. No pun intended. I think for me, I'll throw out the Hawks. When they got Murray, I thought they'd be a bit better.
I think I had him in the play-in.
I thought they'd be above 500. Nick, anyone you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the teams that you mentioned. I mean, I thought potentially that I know they're like the worst team in the league, but I thought Detroit might be a little bit better than they were this year.
yeah.
But
Cade Cunningham being
Yeah.
out the whole season is
yeah,
tough.
exactly.
Someone thought we were talking yesterday, but someone you knew thought that they can make the playoffs, which is like a long shot bet, but no Cade.
Yeah,
Right.
tiny sample size, but post Kyrie and Kevin Durant trade, Brooklyn like still winning games, like still very much looking like a very solid team.
I had an unbelievable gut check, hot take overreaction when Mikal Bridges dropped 45. I was
Fourth player on the Nets to drop 45 points this season.
Wild.
Cam Thomas, Kevin Durant, Kyrie
Cam
Irving,
Thomas,
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like who other than Katie and Kyrie? Cam Thomas, who did it like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
I was like, is Mikal Bridges about to go off on his own team like a Harden-esque? Because it's like literally like Katie and so on and so forth.
Opportunity. Like James Harden when he goes to the Rockets, like who knows what's in store for Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, and then last in the West, I don't need to read the standings. I think we kind of all know them. Who's a surprising team for you guys?
I mean, light the beam, but I'm not surprised because I
The
took
3 seed.
because I took the over on their wins. But did I think they were going to be the 3 seed? No, I just trusted that they had enough savvy basketball players on their roster.
Where are the Jazz at right now?
29-31 outside game outside the plan.
I mean, yeah, I think they started off really hot, right?
Yeah.
But they've fallen off since then. I mean, I guess I'll still throw them out there because we thought they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league, right?
Yeah, that's fair. And I'll throw out injuries, yes, but the Warriors at 500 is a bit disappointing coming off a championship.
Yeah, feel a bit the same way, and even more so than what I said about Miami, where it's like just wait till everything comes together with health.
Definitely.
Yeah,
They're dangerous.
absolutely. All right, Daily Stripe. We'll see you guys next time. Hit your free throws.